Welcome to Faith in Focus, the House of the Dispossessed, inspired by the Book of Mysteries by Jonathan Cahn. We were watching the workers begin construction on one of the school's new buildings, setting in place its foundation stones. The Jewish people said the teacher were called to build God's house and kingdom. They are the builders of houses and kingdoms, whether with God or without Him. They were anointed as the builders, and so they have played a central role in the building of the great houses and kingdoms of man. In the modern age, most of the world's peoples have dwelt in two houses, the house of capitalism and the house of communism. The Jewish people were central in the building of each of the two houses, so too were they central in the building of the great houses and kingdoms of man, the houses of nations, economies, culture, and sciences, the house of the modern world itself. And yet, over and over again, another mystery has manifested. The builders have been driven out from the very houses they built, dispossessed by others. They've been driven out of their places in the house of nations, out of their places in the house of capitalism and the house of communism, and in whatever house they've built. Why? I asked thousands of years ago. The book of Deuteronomy gave a warning and a prophecy of what would happen to the children of Israel if they turned away from God and His ways. You shall build a house, but you shall not dwell in it. But then, what house are they meant to dwell in? There is one, said the teacher. They began building it 2,000 years ago, but then they removed themselves from dwelling there, and ever since leaving that house, they've never found another. What house? The most universal and wide-spanning house in human history, the greatest house the Jewish people ever built, that which is called the church, the Kehillah, the house that God built through them, and into which people of all nations have come to dwell. When they return to that house, they will find themselves at home at last, and in a house from which they will never be dispossessed. And so it is for all of us. It is the only house in which we can dwell forever, and from which we will never be dispossessed. The mission: seek today to dwell all the more in God's perfect will, that from which you cannot be dispossessed, and pray for the children of Israel. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Luke chapter 13, verse 34 to 35-34. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killest the prophets, and stonest them that are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, as a hen doth gather her brood under her wings, and ye would not. 35. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. And verily I say unto you, ye shall not see me, until the time come when ye shall say, Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1. For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, an house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Thank you for joining me on Faith in Focus. Remember, these insights are inspired by Jonathan Cahn's The Book of Mysteries. Until next time, may you find strength in the revelation of His love.